Hello all you amazing people, Dan here. It was an amazing trip right through China. An experience like no other, I have to say. I've been fortunate to go to a number of countries this year, but China was something different and I can't wait to show you it all. Obviously the food was phenomenal. I didn't used to like Chinese food, but getting the real Chinese food, not westernized, was an exceptional experience. The people will, the way that their culture is brought up is exactly the way that it was dynasties ago still. So you still see them doing traditions and the way they speak and the mannerisms. So that was an amazing experience and I'm going to show you all. So to get our things started, I'm going to take you right through our trip, the taste, the eats, and of course the luscious vibes that we got to experience. A trip to a new country doesn't start much better than when you arrive at an airport to have a bunch of fans waving you down, greeting you, making you feel so welcome. They had banners, even neon signs, so thank you to you girls who waited at the airport for us. It was seriously very much appreciated and the cuddles were well worth it. Our first day we went to a traditional temple where there was monks about and doing their honest, amazing cultural things. And to us that was amazing to hear. The actual purpose of this temple was all about calm and relaxation. On one side of the rock face you had all these Buddhas that had been carved in, over 300 of them. Then there was the temple itself, lighting some incense and saying our prayers, paying respect to the traditions that was in this temple, which is very much about the calm and relaxation vibe. So you felt very peaceful when you were around that area. It was an amazing, amazing breath of fresh air. From there we went to our very first luncheon and wow. Okay, so I was talking about the food earlier. I'd never experienced anything like this. This is absolute farm-to-table Chinese style. You had eggplant, what is going on? You had greens, obviously there's meat varieties, very big in their pork and duck, but then also things like lotus roots. All these kind of seeds that I'd never experienced. And the best part about it was on these tables that you could rotate around, get your chopsticks out and have a go with. And on the table was this big clay-like figure. Inside was a chicken that had been cooked for 12 hours, wrapped in aluminium foil, sealed in a variety of different leaves, and then completely covered in some form of dough. They said it was clay, but you never know. Plus the language barrier, let me tell you, thank God we had a translator. I'm getting pretty good. It's ni hao, what's in dan, all those kind of traditional things. You never know, a couple of trips back to China and I could be fluent. But that beggar's chicken, you can tell by the fact that it had been cooked for 12 hours and the only way for the juice to go was back into itself. So a super juicy, flavorful chicken known as beggar's chicken, traditional to Hangzhou or that part of the province of China. From there we visited a pharmacy, a Chinese pharmacy. Now Chinese medicine is massive throughout the world, particularly now that health is becoming quite prominent. You hear of a pharmacy, it's not like your regular white cloak shenanigans. We're talking a beautiful architectural 400-year-old building that had been all carved out of different forms of wood. And then the actual pharmacist is like pretty much best mates with the emperor. So he kind of is a big deal. He was a rich person who established this pharmacy because he wanted people to learn but also be healed, but he also at the same time wanted to be remembered for something. And obviously Chinese medicine with all their ginseng, all their roots, all their different forms of ancient natural goods, he wanted to be remembered for a guy who did some amazing things for the country, and obviously he did. It's still standing after 400 years, so good on you, mate. One of the special moments about this pharmacy was meeting a gentleman who had been actually working there for 50 years. Now that sounds impressive, but imagine doing the same job for 50 years. There's this guy, he's 67 years old, started when he was 17. I can't remember his name, nor could I actually probably pronounce it if I did remember it, no offense. What he does is he creates the pills, the medicine, naturally. So he has this device, it's like a big straw like oval bowl, and it's massive, and effectively adds parts of the medicine together and rolls it around with a bit of water, brushes it aside and does this action. Now after 50 years of doing something, they say that after 100 hours of performing a skill you're a master at it. This guy is like a god. Imagine that, 50 years. and he still has a smile on his face. Apparently he's been to Times Square in New York and he's quite famous, had his own TV show. What an absolute wicked man. High fives him and everything. Such a cool dude. So we had a go. Naturally, didn't do too well compared to someone who'd been doing it for 50 years. I'd done it for 30 seconds. You know, you never know, but I think the Chicago Cubs have a better chance of winning it back-to-back than me doing better than him at this one. So coming up on the next episode of our China visit, we look at the street food, things like scorpions, maybe some dumplings, and obviously noodles as well. So make sure you tune in, subscribe so you don't miss out on what to eat in the streets of China. And obviously there's plenty more as well in the other avenues that we go across this amazing country. So guys, I'm Dan. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for all your social love. Plenty more to come from somewhere in this amazing world. Check your friends.